Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my Formula 1 2020 My Career Mode, here with the Haas F1 team and racing as Michael Schumacher. We're about to head into the Chinese Grand Prix weekend. Just going to have a quick look and see what potential R&D upgrades I have available to me, what we can do. Probably not a lot because I don't have a lot of R&D points left, so it looks like we're not going to be able to start anything at this moment in time, and instead I'm going to have to wait until after free practice when I've got some programs completed and earned some points. I am going to take slightly harder tyre compounds for this race, the harder tyre allocation, because I think potentially this is a track that's going to be more suited to medium and hard tyres. Quick check of all my engine stuff and gearbox stuff. I think we're okay on wear and tear, which means I'm not going to have to change any engines for this weekend. So far it's going well. As far as actually, we've completed 3 races and everything's looking okay on the wear and tear side of things, which is a massive difference from obviously when I did my team career, when the game first released and everything broke very quickly. I'm glad Codemasters have patched and fixed that, because the wear rates when this game first launched were off the scale. Right. So, completed free practice. I'm sorry I didn't show you any of the practice sessions, but really wasn't much point. It was pretty steady going for me in the free practice. I'm a little bit concerned heading towards qualifying that we're not very quick in the speed trap. In fact, most of the teams are hitting well above 200 miles an hour in the speed trap, while we are struggling to get there, and that is a bit of an issue because that's a lot of time we're losing then on that big long back straight here at the Shanghai circuit. I'm not sure how I could have got more speed, because I'm running the highest speed car setup, the preset for the highest top speed. Good thing is though, I can get a few of these parts that we couldn't develop earlier into a bit of production. Still not ideal. I would like to have done some more of the aero side of things. Got that sort of done. And again, just check it after doing obviously 3 practice sessions, just checking the engine situation, make sure everything's okay. Gearbox, now we've obviously got the race gearbox fitted, which is at 39% ahead of qualifying and the race. Should be okay. I'm not foreseeing any penalties anytime soon, which is good for me. So we might as well jump straight out on track in Q1 and set ourselves a good time. Going to obviously do Q1 on the softs. No point trying to be a hero in Q1. So let's go. Let's go put on a bit of a qualifying lap specialist type deal. Again, suddenly in qualifying, this car seems to find a lot of pace, and I'm starting to wonder whether that's because of the super secret party mode engine setting that you have available in qualifying that you don't have available in any of the other sessions. You know, you've got your lean fuel mix, you've got your standard mix, you've got your rich mix, and then you've got that max, super secret max setting that is only available during qualifying, the party mode. And I reckon that is what gives us what's giving us this extra pace in qualifying, that is giving us these slightly higher grid positions than typically what we finish in the race. And we suffer then in the race because we don't have that engine mode available, so we lose then a lot of pace in the race compared to the other teams. Because I have been wondering why I am so much faster in qualifying over a lap than I am in practice or in the race, and it's because of that engine mode. I can see why the FIA are banning engine modes from real Formula 1 as of next week's Spa Grand Prix.
Good job.
To try and close the field up and remove some of the advantage that some of the teams have. But I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference on real life F1, really, the removal of the engine modes, because the teams with the best engine are still going to be at the front. It's probably going to hurt the teams that were further down the grid, to be honest, who have super secret engine settings to make up for their normal lack of power and stuff. But anyway, we're going to cruise back. We're going to do an in-lap. I don't normally record an in-lap, but I'm going to record the in-lap today in qualifying because, well, I'm recharging my battery, ready for Q2. Trying to get the, obviously, ERS back up after running in the hot lap DRS mode. Lewis Hamilton's just posted the quickest lap. Good on him. Lewis needs a strong showing here at this Grand Prix because he's been second fiddle to Bottas most of the season, and that's not good. He shouldn't be that far behind Bottas. In fact, you know, I've said it time and time again, in this game it seems like Codemasters have got the AI completely the wrong way around, because Bottas should be the slow guy in the team and Hamilton should be the guy winning every race, but that's seemingly not the case in this game. But yeah, Lewis has had some bad luck. I mean, Bahrain, for example, you know, first lap he was leading me in that race and he was pulling out a huge gap, and yet somehow only finished like 11th or whatever it was. Not sure what happened to him in that race. But as you can see, coming to the end then of Q1, we are in 6th place, 2 seconds off Lewis's time. That's not great, is it? In one lap pace, being 2 seconds slower than the Merc.
So far is at 1:32.9.
That shows the huge performance gap that the Mercedes team has in career mode. The performance advantage their car has over everybody, and why you really do need to be getting through that R&D tree as quickly as possible. But chances of competing with the Mercs at the front of the grid are not going to be first season events. We're probably going to be waiting till end of season 2, probably season 3, if I run that far. All depends on how well received these videos are and how many views and likes these videos get. I mean, if people are watching the Formula 1 series, then obviously there'll be little point in me continuing it, because it takes far too much time to record these episodes for people not to watch them. So we'll see. Unless we start getting some serious views and some serious likes on these videos, we probably might not be running much beyond season 1. We'll complete season 1. I'm committed to doing season 1, but obviously whether there'll be a season 2 in the F1 career mode will depend purely on where the views are. on the videos. So if you are enjoying the series, make sure you view the videos, make sure you like the videos, and make sure you share the videos with as many people as you can. So I got out for Q2 on my medium tyres. Not too happy that I've been put in traffic by the team. And it's an Alfa Romeo by the looks of it, which is not great, because that's going to be Raikkonen or Giovinazzi. And to be honest, we're quicker than them, or we should be quicker than them. I see Sneaky Lando's done a fastest lap. Now Max Verstappen's done a fastest lap. Now Bottas has done a fastest lap. This might help. I might get a bit of a slipstream and a bit of a tow down here by the Alpha. However, I'm probably now too close to it heading into the braking zone. I don't know where to brake. As a result, I broke way too early for that corner. Almost came to a standstill. So, not the greatest of Q2 laps on the medium tyre. Probably left a little bit of time out there. And as we come to the end of the Q2 session, we managed to stay in 5th place, despite only running once on the medium tyre. Grosjean managed to sneak into the top 10 shootout as well, in 9th place. It's a good, probably, heading into Q3, good setup for Q3. Again, just going to go out there, smashing a time, and then see where it puts us for the race. And then, obviously, with the race, it's a case of just try and hang on to positions. Let the fewest number of cars overtake us. As we head down the field towards where we're actually supposed to be. Again, Q3, and it's not great to see a car in front of me on the track. The team, what are they doing? Putting me out in traffic. Although he's slightly further away than the Alpha. So maybe he won't compromise me too much over the course of the race. Doing pretty well. One thing I do notice a lot is the teams in the top 10 shootout only tend to run one lap. No one goes out for like a second attempt. Everyone just kind of posts a lap and then just sits there and is happy with it. It's a little bit not realistic. Oh, I got very deep in there. I've run wide. But should be a good quick time. And that puts us P2. Wow. Front row of the grid at the minute. Beside Bottas, ahead of Albon, Norris, Grosjean. And again, as we come to the end of Q1, we have... we managed to hold on to P2, I think, unless there's any penalties, which I don't think will affect us. Grosjean stayed in P9.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three
Albon
today.
was ahead of
Bottas,
Lewis.
Schumacher
That's
and Alexander Albon. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix
Vettel is
tomorrow,
5th.
so make
No
sure
Charles
you join us
Leclerc.
then.
Did the second Ferrari not make it into Q3? Did Leclerc get knocked out in Q2? Wow. Bad result for Ferrari. Again, with their engine, you would expect them to be quite dominating at this track. But yeah, I mean, P2, we've got to be happy with P2. Qualifying position. It just means that potentially we're going to be overtaken by 19 other drivers in the race. We've managed to beat Nicholas Latifi, so my rivalry continues. And we've got a nice 5-place lead over him. My acclaim has gone up, so I keep raising the acclaim, because obviously that's going to be important when it comes to contract negotiation time. Try and get some more money out of Haas F1 and try and get Gene Haas to pay me more money for being, you know, this team's superstar. Weather forecast for the race is good. Cloudy with sun, but no rain forecast, which is nice. So yeah, again, just checking the engine. I mean, not that I would make any changes at this point, because obviously breaking park firme would relegate me right to the back of the grid. So we'll take everything through to the race, and we might play around a little bit for the next race at Zandvoort. We might run the new engine for the race in that particular circuit. Keep then engine 1 for practice use only.
We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14.
The only way I could exceed 200 miles an hour was if I was running down that straight with the DRS open and ERS enabled. The overtake button pressed. So in a race without the assistance of DRS, I'm going to be quite slow down that back straight.
Awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you
which again leads towards the notion that the car is very draggy. The aero and chassis are holding the car's engine back at this moment in time.
Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to see how
if a gap exists, Anthony, you have to go for it. Because if you don't go for a gap, you're no longer a racer. That's what the late great Ayrton Senna said.
And Schumacher completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, and Verstappen, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Leclerc, and Esteban Ocon. Norris, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ricciardo, Lance Stroll, and Kvyat, Raikkonen, Perez, Nicholas Latifi, and George Russell, Grosjean, and Pierre Gasly.
Wait a minute, Roman, what the hell are you doing down there? You qualified in 9th. Why on earth have you taken a 10-place penalty, Roman? That is not helping the team, Roman. Not helping the team at all. Oh, what an idiot. He was in the points. And now he's taken penalties. Right, let's do this. Race start. Let's go. Oh, wow, what a start. Bottas seemed to suffer some wheel spin. And I've managed to get straight up into first place. Oh my God, Haas is leading a Grand Prix, everybody. For only the second time this season after Bahrain, we are leading a Grand Prix.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
Jeff telling me to keep it up. Sorry, Jeff. Right now I have Rich Mix enabled and I am using the overtake button, using all the ERS. Once we no longer have Rich Mix and ERS available, we will not be keeping these cars behind us. Let's just enjoy this moment of leading the Chinese Grand Prix for as long as we possibly can. See, look, we just hit 200 miles an hour. I think 202 was the quickest we got down that straight. Compared to somebody like Mercedes who bombed down there at like 208 without ERS and DRS. That's quite an advantage that the Mercedes boys have. So much so that Bottas is trying to steam around the outside of me into turn 1. Now he's trying to dive up the inside of me, and he's going to do it. He's going to... No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Use that overtake button. Second lap, and we're still keeping the Mercedes behind us. But not for long, he's on the outside. Again, use that overtake button. Bit of extra power. Bottas not fancying a lunge there. He doesn't fancy trying to dive down into that corner. Might be struggling now because I've used all my ERS. Got no ERS now. Gonna have to take a couple. Gonna have to take a couple of laps to charge the battery back up.
And in the DRS zone.
I don't like that corner. I really can't take that corner quick. The car understeers terrible. That's the one disadvantage, because I went for the high top speed setup. I don't have a lot of downforce, which means cornering is a little bit of an issue. I literally set the car up for the back straight and forgot about the rest of the circuit where you need to be quick. I guess I'm going to have a similar issue in Azerbaijan when we get to Baku as well, because of the straight there where we're going to need a lot of top speed. I'm potentially going to be compromised through like the castle section and that there, because I'm not going to have any downforce and any grip to handle the twisty tight section of the circuit. Bottas is a lot closer this time. He's going to go down the outside. He's passed me, but I'm going to do my usual tactic of take the inside and go for a dive. Got too deep. So we've lost our first position. In fact, actually, it's not Bottas who's passed us, it's Lewis Hamilton. Okay, so Hamilton must have passed Bottas at some point in the last 3 laps, because I thought it was Bottas behind me, but it looks like Lewis has overtook his teammate. So hey, I'm happy. If Lewis wants to run off into the distance now, you're welcome to, Lewis. I will try my best to hold up Bottas and Albon and Vettel for you. Hopefully you can not do a repeat of Bahrain and manage to hold on to first place. So I would like to see my fellow countrymen on the top step of the podium. Admittedly, I know Michael Schumacher is German, not British, but hey, I'm thinking about me personally. Me, the content creator, being English. Not me role-playing as Michael Schumacher. Oh, got a little bit deep in there. I think sometimes when you're in the dirty air of the car in front, going into that corner, you don't quite have the braking and stopping. Again, the car's a little bit unsettled in the dirty air, So you might need to brake a little bit earlier when following the car into that corner. Here comes Bottas again. This time I'm going to do a dive, and this time it is a dive on Bottas. Got the old switcheroo. Bottas is going to go sneaking through this first corner. Bottas should steam away from me here. Both of these two guys are on medium tyres, same as me.
Roman is in for his stop.
No compound advantages here. Vettel and Albon are on the softs, so I would expect Vettel and Albon
Caution. The virtual safety car is out.
Bottas is out of the session.
Delta. Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow
What
your
has
pace
happened to Bottas after I overtook him? But now we've got a virtual safety car. Not a full safety car, only the virtual make-believe one. And I must admit, I do struggle with this maintaining a delta aspect of the game. I'm really not good at keeping my delta positive. I flirt with getting a penalty quite a lot here because I keep going negative on the delta, and then down this straight I end up being really, really slow. In fact, I'm surprised that Albon or Vettel didn't try and overtake me here because I was a lot slower than the delta. I was too slow, too positive.
Car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag.
And because I was fast there, I had to go really slow. And because I was trying to make sure I didn't get a penalty, I stayed slow. And as a result of that, the Red Bull jumped me because I was focusing on trying to make sure I didn't get the penalty for speeding. That I forgot that we was under green flags and we was racing again, so instead of accelerating back up to race pace, I was still going very slowly. It was interesting to note there as well that at the end of that virtual safety car, Ocon failed to finish the race. He went out of the session too, so I don't know whether he had some kind of issue or whether he's had some kind of contact or collision with somebody. Getting a bit feisty as they return to green, but nice that he didn't trigger another virtual safety car or the full safety car. And we've got Verstappen all over the back of us now. Again, I expect these guys to overtake me quite quickly because these guys are all on the soft tyres, which means they do have a much better pace advantage on that tyre. However, they're probably getting close to the end of their tyre life here on lap 6. They will probably be having to pit fairly soon for new rubber.
Our gap to the car in front is 3.4 seconds.
So Verstappen actually did box at the end of lap 6. That was good. So now we've got Ricciardo and Leclerc behind us. Albon and Hamilton are quite a long way up the road already.
Okay, the gap behind is 4.2 seconds.
I'm in a nice bit of clear air at this point. Got 4 seconds to the Albon ahead of me, 4 seconds to Ricciardo behind me. So now's a chance just to run some steady laps. Let's build that ERS back up. Let's try and get our battery somewhat recharged, ready to start using when we need to defend from overtakes. Albon's pitted. Again, Albon was another guy on the soft tyre, so lap 7 was all he could manage from his tyres. Whereas obviously Hamilton's going to go a lot deeper into this race because he's on the mediums like me. Now the fact that all the cars behind me have pitted and are all on mediums, they're not going to close and catch me quite as fast. They're not going to be zooming up. It's going to take them a few laps to catch up with me now. In fact, their best hope of catching me will be when I box and fit the hard tyre, because then they'll have the pace advantage. Right now, the race is kind of nullified at the moment. Although they are catching me, they are doing so very slowly. Which is great for me. I love being that little bit faster at this point in time.
To teammate behind is 37.7 seconds.
Yeah, Roman's not really doing a great job, is he? That 10-second penalty, what on earth did he change on his car to get a 10-second grid drop? I mean, seriously, Roman. I mean, it's only the 4th race of the season. How are you having engine issues after just 4 races? You know? I've managed to take
the grip levels to start
the engine and
soon.
gearbox the distance. I mean, what? There was one race that Roman only did like 2 laps before he was out of the race. Was it Vietnam where Grosjean didn't finish? Or was it Bahrain? One of the races, Roman didn't finish, so he didn't use a lot of engine, didn't suffer a lot of wear and tear in that race, did he? Because he crashed.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards. Some information on Stroll. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Ooh, that'll be nice. One of the tracing points fails to finish the finishes the race, possibly. Again, be nice for Haas, because that'll be one of our rivals not picking up points. Admittedly, they're not really one of our rivals because they're literally like the 3rd quickest car in real F1 at the minute. You know, Mercedes Red Bull Tracing Point is the real life order of things in Formula 1. But we're doing fairly okay. There we go then. Lewis Hamilton again with the fastest lap. He must be in hammer time mode because he's going to be boxing fairly soon, I would think.
We're boxing this lap.
He's probably going to box at the end of this lap then, same as me. I think the medium tyres of 12 laps is their limit on this circuit, which leaves us then 16 laps to do on the hard tyre. Again, strategy-wise, should I have run a few more laps on the mediums? Gone a little bit deeper into the race? Could I have done so? I wasn't really checking the tyre wear. You notice I've not really had the MFD up looking at different screens so far in this race. I've been pretty much happy just running round in circles on this track. But if I'd been checking the tyre wear and if I was kind of feeling that there was life left in the tyres, could I have run more laps? Could I have gone a little bit deeper into the race? Could I have gone to a point where perhaps I could have even pitted from mediums back to softs? That's one of those things to possibly consider. Because then I would have been on a much... all the other teams would have been on hard tyres, I would have been on softs, and then I would have probably had a bit of a speed advantage. I don't know whether you could do a one-stop from medium to soft though. I don't know if that's possible. Might not be first year.
Pit strategy complete.
I know if we got the car upgraded, and like I say, improved our chassis and aero a little bit, we might have possibly been able to stretch a set of mediums far enough into the race that we could have pitted and put softs on. Okay, we've come back out in 12th place, but I'm guessing there's still a lot of cars in front of me and around me that are on soft and medium tyres, so they're definitely going to be boxing again. They're not going to the end of this race. So the normal order of things, we'll be back up at the top, towards the top places again fairly soon. Just run a bit of rich mix, burn off a bit of fuel, gain a bit of speed down this straight. Quite a few cars in the pits. We are up into P6 at the minute. So it looks like we'd lost, what, 3 places?
Okay,
3 places in that pit stop period. Because I think we were 3rd when we boxed, behind Hamilton and Albon, and now we're down in P6. So there's a couple of cars ahead of us that have gained track positions. But again, I've got a feeling, you know, that they're going to have to box again. I mean, someone like Kvyat, I don't believe Kvyat is ahead of Albon on pace. I think Kvyat's ahead of Albon on the fact that he's not boxed.
The car behind you has just fitted the hard tyres. Car behind, running hards.
That's Ricciardo for everybody keeping count. Who's a lot closer now at 1 second. Just slightly out of the DRS zone. Okay, we're up to P4 now then. So there's Leclerc. Leclerc's just come out of the pits and he's actually gained track position on us. So he's kind of undercut us a little bit there. Or overcut us, sorry. Because he's run longer. He's actually got track position by staying out and boxing quite late. Thing is, can I now maybe stay with him? Can I use him to tow me round a little bit and give me some slipstream? Or is he just going to be too quick and pull away from me? We're on the same tyres, so he's not going to have that advantage. Whatever advantage you've got is going to be all purely car. The Ferrari engine, aero, chassis, durability. Which, you know, let's be fair, in this game does not match real life. The Ferrari car in this game is totally outperforming its real life counterpart. Like I say, we didn't get any performance update from Codemasters to bring that Ferrari down. Good thing is, I seem to be pulling away from Ricciardo, which means whilst I'm focusing on Leclerc, I'm actually pulling out a gap to the car behind. The problem will become if I lose.
1.9 seconds.
I start to lose Leclerc. If he starts to get away from me and then I'm kind of, I don't have that focus, then I'm probably going to start to fall back into the clutches. And he is pulling away from me, sadly. Like I say, he's got the gap up to 1.9. Well, it's 2 seconds now. Slowly getting away from me. Again, I'm using the RS down this straight because we don't have the straight line speed. Car's too dragging.
Hamilton's in first place.
195 miles an hour was the best I could reach there. Oh, losing so much time on that straight because we can't lose the. We're too draggy. We've got too much drag, too much resistance. The car doesn't cut through the air.
But be aware, your tyres need to go the distance. We're leading our teammate by 24.8 seconds.
So basically Grosjean's not in this race. Again, he's not helping the team. He's not picking up any points. And now he's boxing. How many pit stops has Grosjean made in this race? But one thing, without wanting to possibly jinx the race here, we've not yet had a safety car.
The gap to the car ahead
We've
is
had a virtual safety
2.7
car in this
seconds.
race, but we have not had a safety car yet, which is, so far, the first time in this career, Formula 1 part of the career mode, the first race where we've not had a safety car deployed. All the other races of the season have not only had safety cars deployed, but we have had multiple safety cars in the race. The fact that we've reached lap 17 here and not had a full course caution, I'm quite pleased with that, because I think it's fair to say as well that the safety cars have messed me up a little bit, because I really haven't worked out what I'm supposed to do when the safety car comes out, whether I should pit or whether I should keep going. In one race I pitted, it cost me. In another race I didn't pit any time the safety car came out and it cost me. Leclerc's getting almost to the point where he's almost out of visual sight now. He's getting that far ahead of me. Soon I'm going to be losing, and then it's going to be a case of I need to turn my attention back to Ricciardo behind me, because it won't be too much long then before he's coming at me again. Because when I'm kind of in no man's land where I'm not sort of attacking anybody, and I'm not really having to work hard to defend, I kind of, in that sort of position, I'm kind of nowhere. So it's either I either need to get on the back of the Ferrari in front to reinvigorate me, or I need that Renault to come steaming up onto my gearbox to force me to go quicker. Because I'm kind of, like I say, I'm kind of just in no man's land at the minute in this position. Very difficult to keep constant and consistent lap paces when you're just kind of trundling around on your own. Like you say, if you was closer to the Ferrari ahead, you start then, you know, being a little bit later on the brakes to try and gain a couple of, you know, a little bit of time in each of the corners. You know, you get that slipstream effect which just pulls you along a little bit and pulls you a little bit closer. All stuff that's a great aid, but now Leclerc is like 4 seconds ahead. He's checked out and gone. Can't do anything about that. And now Ricciardo is coming back at me. He's now only 2 seconds behind. He did drop back to 3 whilst I was chasing Leclerc, but now I've lost Leclerc, I'm falling back now to Ricciardo. And it's not going to be too long before he appears in my mirrors and starts climbing all over the back of me.
Catching you by 0.5 a lap. 0.5.
Half a second a lap, yeah, great. There's 8 laps to go in this race. My mission now is to make sure that Renault and that tracing point behind him do not pass me. That's it. Let's try and hang on to 4th place, because that's going to be a great result for the team. That's going to be a lot of championship points, which is going to be great for the constructors' standings and also for, you know, good prize money come the end of the year. The higher we can finish up the table, the better. To get some more money, which we can then use for, obviously, better investments in the team.
Our gap to the car in front is 4.5 seconds.
Be nice to be able to speed up our R&D teams and get them chucking out the upgrades a bit faster. Not failing quite so many, because that doesn't help me. Still setting personal best lap times though, which is nice. Even on these hard tyres, I'm starting to go a little bit quicker now than I did on the mediums. So the track must be rubbering in quite nicely at this point. As the fuel load comes down as well, I'm making these hard tyres definitely work for me. But I've always found in Formula 1 games I am much more happy as a driver when I'm on harder tyres. Most people say, oh, you want the softs because they're super grippy and they're the fastest tyres, but for me and my driving style, the harder compounds seem to suit me better than the softer ones. Maybe it's because I like to slide the car a little bit. You know, in some regards I'm a bit like Lewis Hamilton in that sense. I like a car that's a little bit on edge, that's a bit slidey, bit of a handful. And because you're doing that and you're driving like that, you tend to create a lot of heat in the surface of the tyres when you're dragging them across the track. And obviously the harder tyres are going to be less susceptible to those temperatures than the softs. The softs are going to quickly get like molten temperatures and start to go off, whereas obviously it takes a lot longer to warm up these harder tyres. Lap 22, and I can now see the Renault in the rear mirror. The rear view mirror at the top of the screen. The Renault is now there. He is gaining on me. He's closing. So now we've got to be focused now on defending. It's time to wake up, get your racing head back on. You've had a couple of quiet laps in no man's land. Now it's time to refocus, because we need to keep that Renault behind us. We can't afford, well, we can afford to let him overtake us, because, you know, we're batting above average at the minute. But honestly, I would like to maintain a P4 finish in this race. I would like to finish P4. I think the team deserves a bit of a boost of morale from a good race result. And like I say, it won't do our constructor standings any harm to finish in P4. That will give us quite a boost and put us ahead of quite a few teams that would be expected to be beating us. So it puts a bit of pressure on them instead. And when they have pressure on them, they might make mistakes. I definitely think we're in this kind of mode at the minute where, like I say, our best chances of race results is to use all the tricks in qualifying to get a highest grid position, as high a grid position as possible, and then try and hang on to it in the race. Just try and defend for all we're worth in the race, and not fall too far back down the order. Right, we're still keeping Danny Rick out of DRS. He hasn't got into DRS yet. I am slightly concerned now that Vettel has overtaken Perez, and now he's on the charge. However, that could work in my favour, because if Vettel gets close to Ricciardo,
Okay, gap ahead is
Ricciardo's going to have to go
8.2
defensive.
seconds.
And if Ricciardo goes defensive, that's going to help me to stay ahead of him. So actually, we could really do with Vettel getting a bit of a cut on. Getting close to that Renault. Oh, doing a bit of rally driving, using parts of the circuit we are not renting for the weekend. And it's shocking to see us only hit 192 miles an hour down that straight. That is where we have lost a lot of time in this race, and where people can catch us very easily. You know, if Danny Rick gets on my gearbox on that straight with DRS, I will not be able to defend. I don't have the straight line speed. Unless I've got some overtake button, which is not looking likely, as we've seemed to have burnt through all our energy recovery system. I've really struggled to get the battery recharged. I don't know if that's something we can possibly look at upgrading later on. I know ERS is contained within the engine R&D tree. I was really hoping not to spend a lot of points in that tree in the first year, wanting to focus on aero and chassis, but our ERS system is letting us down because we don't have the ability to deploy overtake mode as much as maybe the other teams are, because we struggle to recharge our batteries. And Danny Rick is very close now.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
And I'm having to use ERS on this straight, but we can't use it for very long. Did get to 196 miles an hour there, so gained an extra 4. That could be very crucial. Also using it down the main straight.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Yeah, I'm not expecting any issues from tyre wear, because we are on the hards, which are pretty much bulletproof in terms of their durability and reliability. I should be able to do 16 laps on these tyres, seeing as I managed 12 on the mediums, plus the laps we did in qualifying, the out lap, the flying lap, the in lap. So we did like 15 laps on our medium tyres, including one really hard push lap in qualifying. So I would fully expect in the race trim the hard tyres to do 16 laps, especially as we're, let's say, light fuel load now. Put the overtake button nailed. Only managed 195 that time. I'm just checking my speed all the time on that straight, because that's where, as I say, Danny Rick and anybody is going to catch me, because they are faster in a straight line on that straight, because they don't have the drag that we do. I'm sorry to keep banging on about the drag, but this car, its aero and its chassis is dreadful. You know, Haas should be ashamed of themselves for making a car that weighs as much as this and is as flipping draggy as this. They've got a great engine in the car, and then they go and underperform the engine by making a flipping brick of a car. You know, lot of teams make their cars out of carbon fibre to save on weight and stuff. Seems like our team makes the car out of concrete. Danny Rick, he's getting close. I'm feeling the pressure now. I really want to keep him behind me. I want to get 4th place. We've got 2 laps to go. We're nearly at the end of the second of those 2 laps. We'll be on our final lap in a moment. Just got to keep him behind for that little bit longer. 1 more lap. That's all we've got to do. 1 more lap.
This is your final lap of the race.
Oh, flipping heck. And suddenly we got a Danny Rick dive bomb. He tried. I got a little bit too deep into that 1st and 2nd turn. I've got deep there as well. Oh. That Renault is all over my rear wing. I bet everybody right now is just looking at that rear view mirror to see where that car is. But the good news is Vettel has now arrived on the scene too. So that's probably going to take Ricciardo's focus. And Ricciardo is now probably going to be defensive.
15.2 seconds.
So Vettel showed up at just the right time. He's probably secured me a 4th place here. Because all of a sudden Danny Rick wasn't even in DRS for this last back straight. And Vettel has actually done the move. Vettel has overtaken Ricciardo on the last lap in the pretty much penultimate corner.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Wow, that was some exciting end to the race. Not from my perspective, but from the other cars. Danny Rick went from trying to get 4th place to, unfortunately, finishing in 6th.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners today.
So he went from trying to gain a place to actually losing one.
Out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely.
And I'm glad to see Lewis won. I'm really happy that Lewis Hamilton won the race.
Out of their tyres at all times.
I definitely want to see him beat Bottas. He's got to beat
and I can see the
Bottas.
drivers starting to approach the podium.
We've got an Albon in 2nd, then we've got a Charlie Leclerc in 3rd.
Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Amazing that it's Albon up there and not Verstappen. What is going on with Verstappen at Red Bull? Because he's getting whooped by his teammate. He's getting absolutely whooped by his teammate. In fact, Verstappen, I don't think has actually been anywhere in the results, has he?
This round of the World
He's in
Championship,
9th place
here's how
again.
Things look in the drivers' table. After
He keeps losing ground. He started in 6th and he
the top
dropped.
spot in the drivers' championship. Now let's discuss, Ant, who
Okay,
would
did
you
a
say is
two-stop
a
strategy.
contender for driver of the day?
Well, there was a
Should
lot of
be me.
incredible driving out there today, Crofty, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic
Why?
driving.
It's time to see how things are
Because he
shaping
went from
up
16th
in the
to 7th.
Constructors'
That's
Championship.
why.
Mercedes continue to extend their lead.
Grosjean
Meanwhile, Ferrari
was
have
terrible.
improved their position.
He got
A strong
lapped.
weekend from them as they
Didn't
find
beat
their
the
way
Williams
towards the
or
top.
the Alpha.
After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to
In
join
standings,
us again
we
as
have
we
moved up to
continue to bring you
10th.
the latest excitement
In the
Formula
drivers'
One.
standings, that is, which is nice for us. And as a team, we've moved up to 6th. We are now ahead of McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, and Williams. So that was a very good race weekend for us.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours.
Okay, Claire.
Did you have the wrong fuel strategy today, or was it your management?
She's asking me this because technically speaking, I actually did run out of fuel on that last lap, pretty much as we was approaching the finish line.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
Seems a bit of an exaggeration to say we mismanaged the fuel. I think we timed the fuel to perfection.
Great.
But, you
Well, that's
know,
everything.
some of these questions are pretty stupid, you have to admit. The good thing is we've whooped Nicholas Latifi again, so we've pulled out another 2 points ahead of him. I don't think this rivalry is going to really go his way. We will probably beat him pretty soundly. We've managed to reach level 5 acclaim. So now as we head towards the next race, which will be the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort, we're in pretty good place. Hopefully get some R&D upgrades, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now, folks.